Alright, it's getting cold out and I have a little situation where I ran out of firewood. Tonight it's going to be below zero, tomorrow night below zero, Friday warming up a little bit warmer tomorrow, or on Friday, but yeah, as you can see, that's all the firewood I have left, and yeah, so not good. But so I need to use my chainsaw to cut firewood, but I've been having issues with it and I haven't taken the time to fix it, but I need to fix it. And so what happens is after it's running, it idles fine, but then you go full throttle with it and you run it at full throttle and it cuts out like it's starving for fuel. And I've adjusted the high and low jets or adjustments on the carburetor, and that didn't solve the problem. Long story short, I think I am getting gasoline gas or vapor in the fuel line because the fuel filter is creating too much of a restriction when it sucks the fuel into the carburetor. So the carburetor has a fuel pump on it, so that fuel pump pumps fuel and sucks the fuel from the gas tank into the carburetor, and that suction creates a vacuum, and that vacuum, if it's strong enough, that vacuum will boil or vaporize a liquid. It does the same thing with water. If you put water in a vacuum, it turns to vapor. And so you see these little, this is the upper fuel line right here, is the inlet fuel line with the fuel filter on the end of it. And then the fuel line below it is the return line. So every time I hit the primer bulb, I'm creating a suction in the inlet side of the fuel line, and you can see those little bubbles going in there. And I've sat here for 20 minutes just pumping and pumping. At first I thought it was like air maybe trapped in the fuel filter element, but it's not. And that fuel line is completely submerged in gasoline. You can see the water, or the fuel level there. So it's literally impossible to be sucking air into the fuel line. That's gas vapor. Has to be. There's no other explanation for it. So what I'm going to do is I have a new fuel filter. It's a little bit different style, bigger one than the one that came in here. I'm going to swap this out, or swap that out for this one, and then we'll test it out and see what. So I have this little hook thing. I'm going to just reach down in there, make sure it's clean. And I'm going to reach down in here like that, and then I'll pull this fuel line out. And as long as the fuel line is not too brittle, it'll pull out fine. So that's the fuel filter. It looks clean and all that, but if it's creating too much of a restriction, then it doesn't matter. It could be a brand new fuel filter, but if it's too small or too restrictive, it would do this. So I'm going to swap it out for this one. I'm going to put the camera down because I need both hands, and then we'll do this little test again. Alright, this new filter fits on there loose, so I'm going to put a little zip tie on there and keep it from falling off. Alright, down the hatch. Here we go. Now we're gonna get some bubbles coming through it first, for sure. Priming it right now. Not seeing any bubbles. Looks good, guys. This is a new one for me, but anyway, I hope this helps. So keep that fuel filter nice and fresh and flowing, and it'll prevent this from happening. All right, let's test it out. Choke that up. Looks good, guys.